6:50 p.m.
I'm calling the meeting to order for 6:50 p.m. We don't have any members of the public, so I guess we can go down to the next agenda item, which is to approve the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
I motion.
And a second?
Sure, I'll second.
All right. So our first item of discussion is writing our CEC charge, finish writing it. Well, I wasn't here, but you all had started doing that in, do you not have edit access?
Yeah, not letting me edit.
Okay, so what we're gonna do. Who's that?
Yes, thank you.
So we're gonna get so yeah. You all had started it in June. It looked pretty darn good when I had read it through. So maybe we can just pull it up and talk about what we're still missing in it.
I think
Yeah,
what I want to do is just match it up with other committee charges so that
Okay.
we at least have the skeleton down. Because I think they wanted it to be similar.
yeah.
Okay.
I feel like we did that in
And
our
did-
June meeting.
Yeah, did we fill in what I don't remember is if we filled in everything or if it was close.
I did a search
Yeah.
for that.
But I'm not sure where they're signed. Like, it's gotta be under the
Okay.
notes, right?
Yeah. I can't get onto the interwebs for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So it's not pretty at all. It's not pretty at all.
Oh, because it's a Google.
So you were.
Yeah, that was my doc that I put together.
Where's
the-
It's, I'm just gonna, I haven't brought a
Here,
notebook.
I should
So
be
if
able
you
to,
use-
1 second. Sorry, Beth.
If you use the agenda on here and we have Beth on the camera there, I can take notes just by hand and put them into the agenda. And
Okay, sorry about that.
The password's double bubble. If you can't get into the internet, try double bubble. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that was the guest?
No, it's
No.
the regular MAUSD wireless.
Under other notes.
All lowercase, double bubble.
Thanks, Beth.
Thank you.
I was logged out now. Anyways, let's get out of here.
Huzzah!
Huzzah.
Huzzah.
Beth.
Little celebrations.
Yay. So, yeah, maybe the easiest way to do this is maybe Barb can pull up ours and Kristen, maybe you can pull up finance and facilities or P&G. We can cross-reference.
Okay, I have ours up.
It's gonna take me a minute to get
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
My whole computer was just completely updated today, so I apologize. I'm just not,
All good. It
I'm
took
not
me
in it.
10 minutes to log into the Zoom, so
So now this is yours. And I'm
Okay.
gonna move pen and paper.
thank you, Liz.
Yeah, oh, thank you.
If you just go to any of their minutes or any of their agendas,
Mm.
it should be like linked at the top. So I've got finance and facilities right here. And nope, finance and facilities doesn't have theirs linked. We had ours linked.
I mean, I've got the 2023.
Okay. Nope, wait, hold on.
2025 by Steve. Who's not on the board.
June of this year, right? Or was it the month? May, when we brought them to the meeting, they would have been linked to that agenda, that board meeting agenda. Right, because other people
Yeah.
approved theirs.
Yeah.
in May.
So it was May that,
Was it May or June?
well, I'm trying to figure it
I
out.
would guess.
I think it was May
I think
because
May too. We had like
yeah.
one meeting we could have potentially,
Okay,
and that's when
so
we started.
page
out.
not found, but.
it's also possible.
Page I'm looking at, no.
I mean, in looking at the document while you guys are comparing, the only bullet that I'm a little apprehensive about is that support equity and inclusion.
Okay.
Love it. Not sure that's something that it seems pretty I don't know. Seems kind of specific. Are we supporting, representing? Maybe it's just the supporting is the because we're the voice for the community, but we want to hear all voices. Promoting, yeah. I don't know. That was just one thought.
Which one, which bullet, are you talking about all the bullets or just?
No, it's general charge, and it's like keep going down, down, down. It's almost at the bottom.
Yeah. For equity and inclusion, right? And then there's
Yeah.
3 bullets under
Support.
there. Is there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which one or all of them that you're not sure about?
Yeah, I think all of them. It just kind of seems more specific. The rest are more general.
Yeah.
That's my only thought. Like, ideally, every single one of us should have that on our.
Yeah.
Every committee should have that on. So that's just something I don't think it should just be us. It should be every committee, right?
Right.
Not only supporting, but like, it's
So
the norm. Like, yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm just struggling with that's the expectation that all voices are heard in our committee are welcome to be heard. I'll stop. It just seems like an outlier that's the one that stuck out.
What if we just wrote that and got rid of the other 3? How would you guys feel about that? Yes?
Yeah, so under promote engagement and well, my only thought is that I know last year and in previous years there have been several people that had joined the community engagement committee with the specific goal of bringing anti-racist education to MAUSD. So I know that equity and inclusion has been a CEC focus more than it's been in other committees'
Well,
focus.
That was, I wouldn't say it was last year. Would you? I think it was more,
It was prior to last year.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Maybe rather than support, we could be like represent or
I like it.
it's just the support. I'm thinking like special ed, like are we providing a goal, like a service? Maybe represent,
All right.
avoid sounding, yeah.
And leave
Represent.
the bullets? Would you be okay with that? Or how do you feel about the bullets? Identifying, help remove barriers, blah, blah, blah. Promote culturally responsive.
I mean, are we doing that?
No.
Is that part of?
Well, the third one, I mean, I think that we do have conversations about identify and help remove barriers to engagement when we talk about doing childcare, when we talk about where we're doing it, when we're doing it, how we're doing it. I think that
Yeah.
do want to have culturally responsive communication strategies. I hope the serve as a sounding board. I don't think we are the sounding board ourselves, but maybe provide a sounding board or something like that for new ideas and
Provide opportunities for some.
opportunities, right? Because it's not like every one of these meetings is necessarily a community engagement event. Kind of
Right.
like planning today, for instance,
Yeah.
right?
I like that.
I
Yeah.
hear what you're saying in that if some of these look like task specific,
Right.
and if we were to focus on those tasks, we might find ourselves only doing that. And I think that's
Kinda
where
limiting.
we caught ourselves a couple of years ago.
Yeah. No, but that's better. That feels, I think it's important to have it there. It's just
Yeah.
now, yeah. Thank you.
So my thought, and I tend to, my fatal flaw is moving too fast, and I'm aware of this. So please tell me if we're not ready for this yet. But my thought is like, I care less about having our charge match other committees than I do about having a charge. So I think the charge looks pretty darn good as is. How do we feel about the charge as is?
I think we were happy with it when we left.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, ooh, lost it.
And we'll look at it next year, right? We'll be
We
looking at it
could,
next
and I
spring.
think it's really, I mean, close and skeleton, the framework is pretty close to, if anybody. It's gonna be scrutinized that closely,
yeah.
that's my guess. I mean, it's there and it's great the way it is, and I don't think it would, cause any friction.
And we are gonna rewrite it or relook at it in the spring. So.
Yeah, yeah.
Would anybody like to make a motion to approve the agenda?
You wanna put it, cause you do a lot of writing.
Sure. The agenda or the charge?
Sorry, the charge.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's
Um,
right. We gotcha.
It's all good. All right, so I am gonna make a motion to approve the charge for the community engagement committee as we have it laid out in the agenda. Or, well, no, actually, we did make some changes. Yeah, so I need to, it's gonna be the amended version.
Yep, approve the amended,
The amended
the
charge,
charge as amended.
as amended, yes,
Mhm.
thank you.
Beth, did you have any other, points that you wanted to make before we finish?
No, that was fine. Thank you.
Alright,
Perfect.
I'll second it then.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Okay. We have a charge.
Yes.
Let's go, team.
Yeah.
How exciting. Okay. So, the next item on the agenda is a discussion item. And at our last board meeting, the board moved to explore 7 models of educational delivery for FY 27. As the community engagement committee and with our newly approved charge, I'm curious to hear from this committee what we want our role to be in exploring these models.
I think our role, we need to be incredibly careful.
Okay,
We don't have the hard data to spell out to our constituents. I think we need to be very, very careful. I also think that regarding, community events like at open house, I don't want to be a negative Nancy, but I don't think that's the time or the place to talk about that. We want parents to come to open house, be excited about their kid or kids, their classroom, meeting teachers, the children's enthusiasm, and I don't think that this is the appropriate place to weigh all of this on the parents.
okay,
I don't know if I don't know how everybody else feels about, other venues. But I would be very, very hesitant to advertise any of this, thinking specifically to Shannon at our retreat, in that you know, whenever there is the topic of the budget that comes up, all of the educators, they really start to freak out, rightly so. And it is not, I don't feel that it is our place to present these options,
Okay.
period.
But I feel like we have it and we have a responsibility to share the information that we have. And Shannon did say that, but we're gonna be in this position for the budget next year of cutting however many people to get the budget down. So that's gonna happen either way. And she had encouraged me years ago to come to open house. I don't think that we want to, like, for the, I mean, so I hear what you're saying about the open house, possibly. Right, I can see that possibly not being comfortable, but for instance, I was thinking like printouts of what we're looking at, which we don't currently have a printout that says the options that we chose and the data behind it from the Excel sheet, that together and handing it out. And I was like, I should be in Starksboro.
So-
Right, you could be in Bristol, you could be in another school, right? So that you're not, maybe it would be more comfortable to kind of have those like. Cause I think that another board member meeting the Bristol families could do a lot, right? And it would probably be important for me to meet Starksboro families, even if it's not to present this information, which I think we have a huge responsibility to do. Otherwise, we're not sharing it, and that's that transparency issue, right? That's that trust issue. If we're looking at it, we share it, but maybe not then. Maybe it's just being there and saying, hey, I'm a board member. Please know that we have this upcoming event. And what do you want to say? And just listening, right? Just listening to any comments or anything they might want to share, and having that one question up on a board with sticky notes.
The thing that I'm very leery of is without, you know, if we were to present what we were given for the board retreat, there's no consistency in the information in all of those slides. So like, for example, you know, the first two, you know, status quo, it would be eliminating this number of positions. You know, if we were to present that as is, you get to I.6, it doesn't say that there's gonna be potentially 33 positions eliminated. So we have to be prepared to answer all of those questions because they're gonna ask the questions.
Or gather the questions to get answers to them.
I think. Okay,
Right?
grain of salt wasn't there for the meeting, but was at the retreat. So I think of this in two ways, from our perspective as a board and from the community perspective. And I think those are two really, really different perspectives. I'm just gonna speak as a community member at first. I would want to know if this was looming. So that's the first thing. As a board member, I don't want any of those options. It would be so easy to remain status quo, have everybody keep paying in, but I think, we're being faced with a lot of issues. The state is gonna do whatever they do, and this may not happen. B, we need to be prepared in any case for something, and C, we can't afford to keep going the way we're going. So if in fact all of these are true options, if I were a community member, I think I'd want to be coming into this gently. I think they need information that we need to do something. And then we can pick and choose how we're going to ease into this, because if you give them all the information at the same time, people are gonna have, they're gonna reject it, no matter what, because change is hard. So I think the question is, how do we get people on board and engaged and have it, you know, make it their choices? So it's not our choice, it's really their choice, because it's their community and their schools. And really, if they want to pay in and have all the schools, then maybe that's what we should be doing. if they don't, then they have to realize that there are other options, but I think, like with kids, if you give them choices, they're not gonna rebel. If you do it for them, they're gonna be like, why do I have to do this? And I think
Mhm.
that's where we have to be careful. So I think the community, and including the community of student learners, needs to be brought into this gently and saying, we have a problem. Here, or whatever you wanna say to them, and I don't know how to, I don't know how to say anything. I agree with you and I agree with you, but I really think there's a middle road where we can get our information to them without like bombarding. Like, all these look fabulous, and if I was doing something that I was 100% behind, I'd say, let's go for it, let's try and do all of them. But I think the question is, how do we ease into this, and how do we get to the most community members, including the kids, as we can?
Can I clarify something real quick?
Yeah, sorry. big one.
No, I agree with everything that everyone had said. I also agree with Kristen that I don't think we have the information, nor do I think it's solely our responsibility to deliver the options to the community. But what I do think is our responsibility is to get community voice
Mhm.
on what's important to them as we're exploring different educational delivery models.
Okay,
So I know at our last board meeting, I think it was raised by Brad that we haven't talked to the community about this. And I think if we are going to go with any model, we will have to have some form of community input. If the community says to us, the most important thing is keeping all of our elementary school all of our elementary schools open, and we will pay any amount to make that happen. That is data that we should know, that we should be able to collect. So the things I listed here were just options for going to the community. So open
Yeah.
house, obviously, if we come to open house and we're like, we're gonna close these schools, like that's,
Especially
But
in
it's 7
that,
Exactly.
options and 2 of them are not closing all the
but all the
schools.
rest of them close Robinson and
Right.
Haven.
But-
So I
but
think
there's-
there's to be really mindful.
I know, but 2 of them don't, and that could be the feedback. Everybody puts their, not at the open house, but everybody puts their sticker on, we close none of the schools. How do we not present the options? And then maybe everybody chooses one of the ones that closes nothing, and that, you know what I mean? Like, I do think we need more information. It needs to be gathered in a way that's different, because we don't want all 16, and that's what the presentation currently has. But that is in there, is to not close anything.
No,
That's
I
one of the
know, I
things.
read it.
And if nothing is closed and there is a town vote at some point and it's chosen not to, that is exactly what will happen, is one of the options where no school closes, right? So that's a very real thing that is, I'm not gonna say unlikely, it's likely to be the case.
So
If
can
you
I
know?
just finish what I was gonna say?
I'm
Is that
sorry.
okay? No, it's
yeah,
okay. I think we might be like 5 steps ahead of where we need to be right now.
Mm.
I still don't think we've determined what we want our role to be. So I've heard a couple of things. We don't want our role to be solely responsible for, and sorry, Liz, I didn't.
Yeah, no, you're right.
but-
Yeah, no, thank you, I'm sorry.
It's all good. We don't want our role to be solely responsible for presenting the options to the community.
Yeah.
No, none of us want that. We also know, Yes.
Can we pause for a second? So, with that thought in mind, let's turn that around.
Mhm,
Who
mhm.
maybe
I want
People,
should be,
people are asking
should
questions.
be responsible I mean, we could support each other and whomever.
Not it,
I
but
think finance should do it personally. Like,
sorry?
I think finance should do it personally.
Okay,
Like, really,
They
I
could-
do think finance should do it.
They could put together the presentation like with the budget and then we share it out and get feedback.
I think in terms of the feedback, though, we've already heard that there are members of the community that would like to have, they want to hear the option of the SU versus SD conversation as well. I
Okay.
think that's important to recognize that, because that was loud and clear at our last board meeting.
Agreed.
I wanted to add, I'm looking at our website. Yeah, you guys can hear me. I'm looking at our website. I don't even know if our entire staff has looked at the 7 options.
Yeah.
Nowhere on our site, nowhere is that presented. So I'm wondering if this is even appropriate because I don't think our staff have had access to it. And if they did, I missed that memo, but I'm not seeing it anywhere on like events under the board meeting, like nowhere. So
And to your
sharing
point,
it with our community prior to our entire staff having an eye on it. So I think we need to find out that first,
Agreed.
Yeah.
right?
just based on, you know, cart horse scenarios in years past, you know, going back, you know, 4 years or whatever. I think we would be doing an incredible disservice to the board. With not limited to the
Correct.
board, but we would be undoing all of the hard work that we have put in the past, you know, 3+ years to rebuild the, you know, the trust that we have with the public. You know, thinking back to, you know, public comment with, you know, some of the educators in years past that have spoken up because, you know, their contract is up for renewal. They are the least senior, you know, teacher in that position. So automatically it's just like everything goes everywhere. And that's why I'm very hesitant to, until we know that all of the touch points that are directly impacted are very aware of all, you know, all of these options.
So you were thinking about not solely responsible as you versus SD. Not at this time, but where else were you?
I'm also just thinking, like, I would just love to get a read on everybody's thoughts on what, like, big picture, not specifics, like, take everything in the agenda out, big picture. What do we think our role in exploring new educational models should be?
Community feedback on them. Bringing it to them and getting their feedback.
Yeah, facilitators. No,
Facilities and finance deliver, we field questions, I think. And I think we should also be thinking about talking to each select board, because there are gonna be select boards that ours have already fielded questions about, you know, these different plans and people wanna know what's going on. So I think select board is the appropriate place to, you know, they need to be aware of what's been talked about.
I think we may have a larger audience if we go through the select board meetings. We get on their agendas, but I'm just gonna say, and I think, I don't know how, I'm not sure how this all evolved. Where the seed was. But I wonder if we could include people who were part of the genesis of the different options. So they can answer questions, because they have all that knowledge. I don't even know if finance and facilities has all that knowledge. I wonder if it, like, where does it go back to, the advisory committees, or? I just know it was presented with options.
I think finance and facilities asked for the options, and then Patrick and Floyd put the information for all of the options together.
And then the admin reviewed it.
And do we know who was on the admin team that reviewed it and then also put their voice forward in terms of their choices, their top choices?
I believe it was.
Yeah, so the advisory council all last year was charged to come up with these scenarios. And it was a massive undertaking with the numbers, anticipated populations, blah, 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 facilities, cost of buildings. So that was all most of last year. And then this summer at our admin retreat, so it's every school administrator, and then central office, Floyd, Patrick, nope, not Floyd, Patrick, Katrina, myself, and then building administrators. And then we were giving like, I think there's 18 scenarios. Maybe more, but we narrowed it down. Like people did it individually, and then we got together in groups and then whittled it down even further. Lots of discussion, some emotion. And then from there, that's where the 7 have come from. No, then you chimed in, right? And narrowed it down even further, I believe. Because you weren't presented with only 7, right?
No, 16.
Right.
And just to
We had
clarify,
even more.
So when admin was presented with these options, was it understood, was it clear that it was to be put in place for FY 27?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what
And then the advisory council that worked on this for a year, that's my understanding of the members of that are from all grade levels, all schools, in all levels of professional. And even support staff as well, there's a representative on there. So
Yep,
it's
you're
a
right.
very diverse group, the advisory council that worked through this over the course of the year. But I think with all of that being said, it's board. The board is bringing this. It's not the administrators bringing it,
No,
right?
I wasn't suggesting that. Those were just
Right,
questions that I had, if they were fully aware that this was to be for FY 27.
I'm just worried that we would put it on
Oh,
that
no, no.
advisory council,
No, that's-
like,
it's-
cause they're
it's
ingrained in
facilities.
the school, and that would be even more.
No.
Yeah,
I
that
would
would
not
be tough.
suggest that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, but I think, like, if you think about it, we have received the charge of taking this to the community.
Yeah.
And making a decision on it at some point. Yeah, like, that's really
Huge.
That's huge. Yeah,
Enormous,
that's,
yeah.
because we're again in that, I mean, this is the way policy and governance works, we're in that situation where we can't do much,
Mhm.
but we have incoming information from both ends and we're just directing the traffic.
Yes, I also like to say that I did ask both chairs to meet with me, and they were both busy and both said no. So I don't want you to think that I'm
Oh, no,
trying.
no, it's,
Of course
no,
you
no,
are,
no,
it's
no,
amazing.
no, this is like, no, and we're all in the same boat as far as I'm concerned. And I
Yeah.
think this is where we are. We just have
Yeah.
to figure out, like, this is real.
Can I make an observation?
Yeah.
This is really hard and it feels really fast. And I feel like it's made even harder by the fact that we meet once a month. We also have information that's not fully ready to go out to the public yet. I know Finance and Facilities tonight is talking about different ways that it can go out to the public. There's more discussion that's going to need to happen at our next board meeting. So not only is it a quick timeline with life-changing information that's going to have huge impacts on every aspect of every community, we also don't have all the information yet. So we have an absolutely enormous and gargantuan charge. So what I see as things that we can do with the information we have right now, just based on what I've heard, and tell me if I'm wrong, tell me if you think we're not ready for this. I think we can ask general questions to the community, like keep it really simple. I'm sure you all can think of a better way to say this, but what my mind is going to is we're facing budget cuts for FY 27. What is important to you as we're drafting new models for educational delivery?
Knowing that we have the option learning.
That, yeah.
Yeah, that was a question we kind of asked already. I mean, not in that way, but in maybe, unfortunately, we may have to be more direct. Like, less general, because that was the general question we had, what's important, but we don't know how
Okay.
to, like,
Yeah.
how we do it.
Mhm.
And my thought too is, can't, I feel like we can gather information and we can go bigger in just the state of the state and the fact that how are people feeling about us stepping up and creating a plan prior to being told what's going to happen.
Oh, I like that.
And that's inevitable, right? Like
Mhm.
all this work could be for, nothing.
Mhm.
But and I think that's a great like pro for us. Like we want to hear your voice because the state is going to be delivering a model, or we can have a model already given or created. So that's one thing, I think. And then the other thing I don't like is us not having the correct information. I couldn't answer a question right now. I don't have the data. I don't have the evidence. And that could be more detrimental than us saying, well, we're not quite sure yet. Like, right?
That's why I
Like,
abstained from voting at the last meeting, because I did not have enough information. I was
yeah, And maybe, so we're not like answering, we're just
Yeah,
Just asking.
asking and, given the state of the state, this, non-Abe's trying to get ahead of things and
Yeah, that's what it,
tooting our horn a little bit maybe, but not, I don't have the answers to questions.
yeah. That's kind of what was presented, prior to the retreat, but yeah.
So where do we go from here?
Feel like we gotta punt back to facilities and finance, because I don't feel comfortable as a member of this committee or as a board member communicating any of this information to any of our constituents. I just think it's gonna come back to bite us.
What specific information do we need from facilities and finance
Or
in order to feel comfortable presenting this information to the community?
great question.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, 'cause we have to
Sorry,
do
we're
it
not
for-
thinking of
A,
it.
a pamphlet, honest to God, like something written down.
Yeah.
And that's going to be really hard because numbers and things are changing. But at some point, we're going to have to say, this is what we're proposing. But to me, like something substantial that people can listen to us and then go home and read or go on the website and read. So for me, it's got to be written down.
Me too.
A proposal.
And it's gotta be, it has to be after, the admin teams and their teams are privy to this information. They need to be fully aware of all of these numbers before we can put anything out there to the public. I feel very strongly about that.
Agreed.
And maybe preface it with your question. Does the community want to have a say in the next steps before the state gives us their version of what next steps should be? Just put that out there first before we, and then come up with, these are some options that have come up. from people
Can I
Right.
share with you all something that I'm feeling worried about? Because our name is the Community Engagement Committee, something I'm worried about is that we don't get any community feedback on anything, and then everything fails, and we're scrambling at the last minute, and all of the blame comes back to us.
Yep.
So one thing I'm thinking about is how can we get community input in a way that's asking and not telling?
I think one thing that really should have been appropriately noted in the agenda was that we're not starting at 6:00.
Yeah,
I know
Agreed.
for a fact that there are at least a half a dozen constituents from Starksville alone that were planning to come to this meeting. And case in point, we look like idiots because we can't get the time right, and we can't say like, okay, well, we're starting at 6 o'clock because we're getting a tour of Moncton.
Please join us.
Yeah, or like, hey, have your dinner and, you know, we'll be getting on this, we'll
Yeah.
start the Zoom at, 6:45.
Yeah.
I think that's something that.
Well, we had done that in the past when we did board meetings, right? We'd start our tour at 5:30 and then start the meetings at 6. So yeah, we can keep that in mind for future committee meetings, 6:30.
That's a miss
But-
on my part, all
No,
of it.
it's not,
It's
no,
not-
none of them did it.
Fault, it just
Yeah, it's
happens.
on every single agenda.
And when
Yeah,
I
yeah.
last time, I logged in at 6.
Yeah,
And then I was like, oh yeah, they're getting a tour, so then I just hung
Yeah.
out, right?
Yeah.
So
It's-
we can just note that and invite
Mhm.
people to the tour, right?
Yep.
When we post it, I posted these meetings we're having today in the Bristol Front Porch Forum. I think it's important to make sure all the towns get it in their front porch forums. So that would be good. Cause I can't get it in Starksboro, right? So we need to have all our meetings definitely posted.
mhm.
How else can we get community? How else can we understand what's important to the community without presenting anything to them or having any agenda about convincing them on anything? Like, how can we just get the community to tell us what's important to them?
Facing budget cuts, where would we find savings? I mean, that's the thing, it's been in the Addison Independent. The options are out there and being talked about widely.
I think that. Just going back to a conversation, I'm not sure who said it, maybe it was Patrick, maybe it was somebody else, but there was an item about phones. Cell phones being in the classroom, and a lot of people showed up because that was a really important issue. This needs to be framed as well, it is, but like somehow. This is gonna affect you, a very important issue. So that people feel like they need to have input.
Yeah,
think
and
that's the only way we're
and
gonna get people.
when I put the for Porch Forum postings out there, I added in there, please come, as these are important conversations where community voice is vital. And I think that needs to be a consistent message for all postings for this kind of stuff, because people read the Front Porch Forum. And I mean, I think that's a good place to start. And also I think it's important to that, that our select boards are aware as well. Some of them, some folks, some community members are more comfortable going to the select board chair in Starksboro. Everybody knows Corin Cousineau. So if they know Corin more than they know Brad, Herb, or myself, they're absolutely gonna go to Corin. And I think that it's important that the select boards are made aware of these things.
Agreed.
Because even if they can't answer the question, they're gonna get a sense for, they're gonna be able to take the temperature of each community and be like, okay, this is what's happening. What is it that you'd like us to talk to people about? Not talk to them about, but what direction should we point them in? Should we send them to the meetings? Should we have them reach out to you guys directly? Like there needs to be a bridge between the board and each town.
Do we have enough information to go to the select board?
One of our select board members requested the presentation from the retreat.
Okay.
So,
And what I'd like to know is if we can share that Excel backup data that
Yeah, I
shows the
know.
numbers.
yeah, I
That
haven't
was
shared that
great.
with anybody, but I think that's vital information, but I don't know how,
That could be the pamphlet for starters.
So would that be an executive session so that they are informed before, because we're still bridging how we're getting it out to the public, we need to. I think we're still back at, do we want to tell, or I think we do, or ask the community to be involved in the fact that things are changing and we're facing financial, we can't keep it up, difficulties, all right, I'm gonna use that word. Do we want to, all of us, go to each of the select boards, do our presentation, maybe show something from a retreat, inform the select board members and say, we need your help in getting the community involved before we give them this information?
I mean, they're gonna, I can't, the second they walk out the door, they're gonna tell people, right? Like, it's in that, so I don't think that we can split that up. I think it's already public. I don't think any, right, like, I think they're just gonna, but we can definitely bring them in. Get voices, help us get people engaged in the conversation, right? And these are the opportunities, the dates or Zooms that we have set up to gather questions and, you know, have like, cause it's.
So is there a way to get, I don't know what was written in Madison Independent.
Oh, yeah, I can send it
Yeah,
to you.
I would love to read what's out there. And so Beth, I'm gonna ask you a question. Is it too late to get your question out, knowing that a lot of information is already out there?
Tell me my question.
Your question was, we want to ask the community whether or not they'd like to be, I think this is what I heard, information from the community to, put a plan together before the state gives us a plan.
I just think letting people know that's what we're doing. What are their thoughts?
Okay.
I think in that same vein, something.
That's why we're doing this. That's the 7. That's the intention. We're not waiting. A lot of districts are waiting. We're not.
So versus asking, we're saying, this is why, this is the rationale behind what we're doing. Yes?
My understanding is that we know our schools, our community, our kids best. So this is what we want to propose versus the state coming in and saying, Addison County, we're going to have one high school. And like I said, it's a risk, all these hours spent. Just want to add one more thing because I know we have the charge before us, but I live very much in the present, day to day, dealing with families that are really hard issues today, tomorrow. And I don't want to lose sight of that in getting. And yes, we're moving forward, we're planning ahead, but not every answer is going to be, well, if we only had 3 elementary schools, we wouldn't have this problem. And that's what I'm hearing. And I'm a little like, we got to address where we are today, how amazing our kids are, how many kids are struggling, just, what we're dealing with. And not lose sight of that as a community engagement, because people are hungry to know that their kid is safe tomorrow, that they're, and losing sight of that, I think is really we're gonna become very political.
Yeah.
And I'm dealing with it all the time already. Like, well, if we didn't have 6 elementary school, it's just like, well, we do. And I have parents who want to make sure that their kiddo is going to get what they need, right? So if we show up at these events, your board members and your parents and your, tell me how things are going. And if you want to talk about the future, this is my face. I'm available when you can. But I don't want to lose sight of being in the present.
Agreed.
But I'm not a political person. I'm very in like connections and so that's where I'm coming from. So
I think it's true. I think it's fair though that there will always be challenges, right, every day and things that people are thinking about right now. I mean, this isn't like, I think this is the community engagement message, but my personal message is that those things would be we'd be more able to address them more readily, and more completely. If, like services were brought together in one way or another.
Right, if we're transparent with the plan. And today, yeah, yeah,
Not that the problems wouldn't exist, but that
right,
we'd
right.
be more able to support. I don't like have better, do you kind of see what I'm saying? Like we.
Yeah, it's both, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
both.
Help.
It's absolutely both. It's just hard for me to, as a
Mhm.
administrator, to say, well, if, we had all our kids under one roof, that's going to cause some animosity because.
Yep.
So I'm just.
Yep.
Like, I'm all for having not control, I'm not a control person, but having a say in our plan for when the state decides what they're going to do. I think that's so important because we do know our communities, but not to lose sight of the present.
I'm kind of thinking back, what's our timeline here? What?
So we're
It's
gonna vote
aggressive.
on this in February.
That's,
No,
okay.
that's when the final decision has to be presented in the end. That's like incredibly aggressive.
I mean, I just don't want us to take all the heat for it if we don't have community input.
Yeah,
There's gonna be.
I think we all.
There's gonna be heat, but sorry, I'm gonna see if this will work. So
I think we have to make ourselves available for
Yeah.
community's voice
can
and not, it's going to be messy and we don't have the answers right now.
Can I throw out some ideas and can you all tell me how they're landing for each of you? One thing I'm thinking about is an open-ended one-question survey, similar to what Beth asked. Another thing I'm thinking about is having a table at open house that just says, hi, I'm your board member. Here's a little notebook, write down what's important to you. And we don't present anything and we don't talk about anything. We just sit there and talk to people who want to talk to us and we gather information in our little notebook. We can compile that. Those are the two things that I am thinking about. Oh, and also, maybe we can go to select board meetings and share the presentation that Patrick gave us. So how are those three options landing for the four of you?
I had a question about the open house. Would it just be Mount Nave or would it be, every open house and have some of them happened already?
But not yet, that I looked, they're not on the calendar, but I sent a message to Jennifer about when the elementary school open houses are, but I do have the high school state.
The high school is November 17th. That's the only one I could find on the calendar.
Yeah.
September or November.
Sorry, September.
And that's just fine here. Select board meetings, I'd like a more consolidated version of information that doesn't have all 16. Right, and that's kind of been like reworded, but frankly, the work that he put, like 8 years of work that he prefaced it with about going around these topics and thinking about these with community and our community putting forward their values is also in there. So I really, the whole beginning of that is really important to share. And I think it's valuable to read because people will see themselves in that work if they've been participating over time.
What talk is that?
So
What are you referring to?
At the board retreat, what we went
Oh,
over,
Yeah,
like
okay.
just not the 16 options, but the 7, because
Yeah.
the whole beginning of that is really reflective of an enormous amount of community engagement, and that's that feedback loop of this is what we heard from you.
I think definitely the select board, presentation, that's already been taken care of in Starksboro. I will say that, what we might want to consider asking of facilities and finance is I know that there's gonna be a question about this bullet. What is the succinct answer to this question? And for example, you know, one of my questions was, you know, there's the, you know, construction needed, yes, if X, Y, and Z. Okay, so does that mean it's gonna be ADA compliant? Like, and people are gonna wanna know,
Yeah.
this is for FY 27. Do we have everything? Like, has everything been solidified, the contractor, the raw materials, everything? Because we've got people, like, they're the people in our communities that this is what they do for a living.
Yeah, this is really.
And it's
But so this means we're in 25, right? So this
25,
is
26.
Not next fall.
Yes, this
It
is for
is
next
next
fall.
fall,
No, so next fall is 26.
26, 27.
Yeah, so we're in FY 26.
27 would be the following
No,
fall.
so we're in
27,
FY
28.
26 right now.
Yeah.
This is for next.
This is
Yeah.
our next
That
budget.
because that we have that for passing forward on that doesn't mean that you actually do the transitioning in that amount of time. We're not gonna take one summer to move everybody and actually make it happen, but you have to approve it because you can't move forward with the plan until you've had approval to move forward with a plan. Right, so even if next
Okay.
spring, say it was voted to close the school, it doesn't mean that that September they would be closed. I feel like that's an assumption. But not necessarily, cause you could take a year to like do cooperative dances, you know, and like do all the things that when this happens, it goes well, like Salisbury and Ripton. Like, had all of these like welcoming things, so it doesn't I didn't see anywhere that it would actually be closed as of then. I mean, it would be dependent somewhat on it, but there's transitions, right? Like, so we don't, I feel like it's a little bit of a jump, cause if you had the savings could like. I don't know that that's the case, but I think it's kind of like the 5 districts in the
Mhm.
state. I think that was a very far goalpost from where we are to meet in the middle. I don't know that if this were the case, that it would necessarily be implemented then, right? That could be a goalpost, and we certainly have input on processing through it looking different and taking, but you can't, it's kind of like with the merger. If you spend a year mapping out the bus routes and getting every single detail and investing however many tens of thousands on that, and then only to end up not doing it, right? I mean, in some ways, like having a larger concept and then working out the details after is an investment for when you have decided on the larger concept. So,
So devil's advocate, because there's always gonna be one.
yeah,
So if that is indeed the case, then what is the budget that people are gonna be voting?
Mhm.
right.
No, that's the question.
Right, that's what so the budget that we're voting on, so if you are voting on school closure.
Mhm.
And say if it were, the plan were for it to happen down the road, and this is where we haven't worked it all out. We could be voting on a budget that will be played out with all 5 schools open, which will have to be an option anyway. Right, but the amount of money itself is to keep all the 5 schools open, but then you're voting on school closure, it doesn't mean school closure for that fall. Do you see see how I'm like?
Yeah,
And then you could actually have a year to plan what that budget would look like. If that were the case, so the budget could be voted on for the
Okay.
district with all the schools open,
so a couple of questions.
right, you
Are
see.
we sure about, are you pretty?
Like, is
I'm
this
saying that this
100%
is
solid?
part of this conversation. I don't think it's written in stone anywhere. Any of those they're all options. Some of them don't even say which school would be closed, right? Like
Right,
there's so
They
much.
do in the Excel document,
Yeah.
it does.
Right, and so but there's flexibility in all of it, right? And this could be one of those pieces of flexibility that could make it more comfortable for all of us. Right? Like,
Yeah.
this is one of those things, like, let's get creative, let's think about what could work better.
so here's what I'm wondering, if and when we do a presentation to the select board, that we invite finance and facilities to be with us right there and hold our hands.
Yes,
Because they will need to really dig deep into the weeds, those are the questions I feel like will be coming up that I know I can't answer.
Yeah, we can't, nothing's, right, it's all just kind of this. I mean, I don't know your thoughts on that, Beth, because you're more intimate with the situation, but I mean, to me, that's an interpretation that I had.
Right. Yeah, I was just thinking that even the title, 7 models of educational delivery, like that's different than anything I've ever heard. No one's saying consolidation.
That's
Educational delivery. Like someone could ask me what that means, and I'd be like, so.
that's just me being an idiot and
I
needing to
think
put
it's,
something in the agenda.
Oh, you wrote that.
I wrote it. Yeah.
Oh, that's why. Okay, because I've never seen it worded that way.
Oh, no, I thought
But it's different ways to deliver it,
What
right?
that's what I'm wondering.
I mean, I like that because it keeps it. a little-
Educational
I
delivery.
do like it. How do you feel about that? I feel like it's more open-minded because it leaves room for somebody to say,
Yeah. Yeah. It's not a building.
right.
It's how education is delivered to your child
And maybe
or available to
be
your child.
crazy, but maybe I wonder if we start out even exploring developmental levels of education and how children learn at different, K through 2 and middle school philosophy and high school and the years before middle school. So people understand the rationale behind any of those moves. I think that would be really powerful. But I also feel like in the back of my mind is that I do not want to wipe out a building that's an integral part of a community, and that there needs to be a really great idea for that space that would keep the community together.
So like,
Repurpose.
an idea that I've heard is to actually form a committee that does that very work, but that could also be our select boards. If they so chose to say, what would other options be? I mean, it's in the paper every day, every week about needing more shelters.
Right. Or Ripton. Ripton right now is figuring out how to repurpose that beautiful little building.
I love to see
Um,
people. Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
yeah.
Right?
And I guess like
I'm on the wait list for like years on the
Mhm.
Starksboro Cooperative.
Right.
Yeah.
So it needs more.
The,
Oh, is
the
that
admin team, when we had the 30,000 different scenarios, they like were super deliberate in development of appropriateness and how we narrowed it down to these. So I feel like that's already all the expertise of all the administrators, like would conversations about K4 schools, just all these side conversations were definitely happening. So I feel like I think we've done that. I feel confident that they definitely advocated for the scenarios that we have now that we narrowed it down to. Because there are some wild ones out there. So I don't know if we need to get into the weeds with that because I feel confident that that's been done.
then, but does the community know that? Do they
Right.
know
Oh, right.
that
No. Oh,
that's where not who did it, or just like, hey, this is how a kindergartner learns, the way Mike was saying, they
Mhm.
buy into incentive or whatever, and here's what we're doing and here's why, and we want to make sure that they have these opportunities, and here's how special ed pushes in, we're going to be sharing these resources. Like that's
right.
I'm a parent, that's what I want to hear, and I'd be like, I love
Right.
this, I want my child to go here.
Yes. Can
Yeah.
can we circle back for a second to
Sorry.
the, no, don't, nobody apologize. I just, yeah, I don't think I got a solid answer on the survey.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
What if we said, and I'm sure that this is the wrong way to say it, and I'm sure that you all can phrase this better than me. What if we said, we, the school board, are facing budget cuts for FY27 and are exploring ways of saving money, including closing some of our elementary schools? What is important to you, community member? Please fill out this box.
There's gonna be people who are going to support that too, like, I wouldn't approach this with all fear. This isn't an all fear conversation, right?
Please, somebody say it better than how I, yeah.
No, I think you said it, I think we have the concept and you said it well, and we can wordsmith later, but. And this may be a terrible idea, but sometimes people need, these are some feasible options, like. Put some bullets down and say, think about this, how would this like fit into your world, or, no, I wouldn't say that, but like, closing schools is pretty. Like,
Mhm.
but if you said something else and something else and something else, and then they were like, hey, yeah, I like that idea, or I like this idea, and
The three options that I feel like I've been presented as a board member, and please disagree with me, are closing schools, letting go of teachers, significant tax increase.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And it's letting go of teachers in school closure, but it's doing it in a way that doesn't impact access to learning as deeply and significantly as it otherwise would, is my understanding.
and here's where a spin doctor comes in.
Please be our spin doctor.
I'm not one, but, like, how to make each of those seem like less than a bitter pill to swallow.
Okay, so brainstorming. I'm not a spin doctor either, but I do unfortunately work in sales. We are facing significant tax increases for fiscal year 27. We want to know what's most important to you, community member. Keeping all our elementary schools open. Keeping tax rates low. Some other option that we haven't considered yet.
We need to add the SUSD model
Thank you. Supervisory union versus supervisory district
or a hybrid version.
or hybrid version.
I'm not 100% on how that directly connects to.
Because it could potentially address the shortcomings that we have and the challenges that we have with the budget. If we go back to an SU model.
Also undoing our district.
So I'm wondering, with all that you just listed, the doom and gloom, and then what opportunities can you see for our students? What are the risks? Right? Like all the facts that are we're being told unavoidable. And what opportunities is this going to provide for our students, and what are the perceived risks? I don't know if risks is the right word, but
I think risk is a great word.
I think it's being transparent.
yeah, or what, yeah. And not only for your students, but the communities,
Yeah.
like shutting down in little schools. That's a
Huge
risk for a
impact.
community, and I would love to know how people define that.
I mean, it
So
can,
maybe,
And I would like really top it off with, like, at the beginning, we want to hear your voice. You will make a difference in the decision, like, just really pull people in by saying, and then put those things down, which I think you put it together fabulously. And then we need to hear from you,
yes.
just,
And I think coupled with that, I think something that we should talk about this, but I feel that we may need to approach Erin and say, look, this is some pretty heavy stuff. And we can't just have public comment at the beginning and public comment at the end. People are going to be pissed.
So what some boards have done is open meetings, right? So you get together and for the first half hour of the meeting is community engagement, but we can't expand our board to be more people, right? Like we have the number of people on our board that we have, but some of them would do like an hour beforehand, you get there and that's open, either before or after the meeting, either way, where
Not
it is
after.
a community conversation, right? Definitely before then. But SUSD feels like as significant of an option as any of the 7 that we're already considering. And I do think that should be in the, like, at the 8th potential option that we left open,
Yeah.
that doesn't feel like something to be separated out.
No, and that's,
to me.
my understanding was that it was going to be. In addition to, that's why it was not limited to the 7 that
Yeah.
were discussed, that would be a viable option. Because we did hear pretty clearly from folks that that's something that they'd like to explore.
We did.
I thought that whole time we were talking SUSD, I thought we were talking. Like Virgins and Mount Abe working together,
That's a potential, yeah,
would we wanna be a supervisory union with them or a supervisory
Yes.
district? This is the first moment that I'm thinking of that as us presenting to the community an option being. To break apart the district that we're in right now, that feels to me like something the town brings forward, but. Right?
So with that, is that awesome?
no, and yeah, what was discussed at the meeting was what I was. Was what I was suggesting to be the 8th option.
Okay.
Okay.
The tricky part with that is, it seemed as though Aaron said, nope, they don't want to talk about it. So I don't know if that's even,
I thought she was saying that in reference to her speaking to the Virgins in Middlebury.
about
Cares
collaborating.
about us being an SU or an SD, like merging. Or
Mhm.
somehow with them in one of those structures. I don't think she was talking about us in our district. Like our town schools separating.
No,
And 'cause
that's
the
what I
burden
mean.
would be on the, like, whoever's doing that in the town, like how Lincoln.
Mhm.
Had to, that was on them
Mhm.
to have that.
Right.
So I'm not sure that we would provide that, but we could recognize that it's. Real,
Right,
right? But I'm not sure that it would be like, have Floyd and Patrick go develop a model,
right.
So what
That
would
might
that
be-
look like?
That's probably
maybe, right? You know what I
larger
mean?
board discussion.
Yeah,
So would that look like for the towns would be in charge of their own elementary schools, they would fund them and
Mhm.
then pay tuition to MA like
Yeah.
it was before?
And there's combined central offices, so we would have some significant savings.
this is
So
where we
not
were
water.
9 years ago.
Yeah.
So anything
Pre-Act
that we've
46.
gained in the last 9 years in
Which
terms of
wasn't
best
very-
work and all of the district-wide work, the nutrition,
Mm,
all of that would just have to be, I don't, you know what I mean? So I don't know, but yeah, it's definitely a bigger board discussions. I'm just first processing it right now with you at this moment. So I'm sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, no, and again, just for clarity's sake, I wasn't suggesting without discussing with the other.
Of course, yeah,
Yeah.
as pamphlet level, all of that, yeah.
for the survey.
For the survey, I have,
Thank
we,
you
the
for bringing
school board,
us back. You're
we,
good.
we, the school board are facing, budget difficulties. Or, yeah, we are facing, significant tax. How do we wanna put it? Yeah, I'd have to put all my notes together.
So-
And all the pages. Again,
We the people.
your MAUSD school board. Our MAUSD school
How
board.
about something like this, in order to maintain status quo, we are anticipating a significant tax increase.
I love that.
Mhm.
Liz, Kristen, Beth.
Yes.
In order to maintain status quo at Mount Abe.
In MAUSD.
Thank you. In MAUSD.
And
I think-
that's 100% accurate. Okay,
Well, yeah, because we are presented with the worst case scenario
right.
thing, so.
Okay.
I've-
um,
I met with Floyd and Patrick and Herb and Brad.
mhm.
The best case scenario, I think Herb and Brad would agree with me on this, but talk to them. The best case scenario is still a significant tax increase.
Yeah. I think too, we do need to point out that there are certain things that are completely out of our control.
Yes,
Health insurance rates. We have no control over that, and as well as the yield.
we have
And-
no
and those
control,
are
yeah.
the health insurance double-digit increases year after year after year, we have no control over.
It's horrendous.
And I think that we really need to call a spade, because it's not like we're trying to place blame, but it's like we are in this position, not because we as a board are making poor decisions for the benefit of our students. We are in this position because of these health insurance increases.
Exactly.
We are not being irresponsible with taxpayers' money.
We are not.
And I really think that, I don't know,
I
I feel a certain way about that, and it's not in, it's not in a positive light, if you couldn't tell.
I think all of us agree with you that
But I think it's important to make sure that that's
Due
pointed
to
out.
due to factors,
beyond our.
well, if we say factors beyond our control, then we're gonna have somebody be
It's
like.
open-ended.
Yeah.
Due to several factors, including,
Or
Like
biggest contributing factors being,
Yeah.
health
Yeah.
insurance and the yield that are completely out of our control.
yes, I like that.
Biggest or two contributing factors being,
I mean, I think
Too
there's a lot
significant.
just, aren't they, or too significant, I mean.
Let's go with significant because other contributing factors are the professional and support staff
Mhm.
increases. I don't want anybody in any town to say this is our teacher's
No,
fault because it's
yeah,
not.
it's
'cause
not,
the-
yeah. Yeah, for
Exactly.
sure.
So, okay. May I? In
yeah,
order to maintain status quo in MAUSD, we are facing significant tax increases. Two significant
factors,
or contributors,
contributors,
Drivers,
contributors, drivers.
drivers, we have to be mindful of reading levels and small words are better. Are,
And then the yield is the other.
yep,
Mhm.
are the yield and health insurance premiums.
Not everybody knows what yield.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't fully understand what it is.
And they
It's-
changed it last year to be statewide, so
hard.
it would change more slowly over time.
Yeah, so maybe one of the finance people can.
Yeah.
just Give us a, I mean, I think I know what yield is, but.
Well,
check
it's
with-
statewide spending
And
is
yeah.
what the yield is,
And I-
because what they pass
Mhm.
over there needs to be funded by the state.
Yeah.
When Burlington's building a school, there's a bond out for it that we also need to support, so we all pass the budget, it goes to the state, and then they need to decide, like, they have to look at what we actually need in order to give back, and so
Right.
it's, the yield is really because
What
of
we get.
statewide spending,
Right, and what we get,
And
what we
what-
get back
right?
in this community from
Mhm.
this.
And the legislature sets the yield, so
Right.
we know, but we know it's gonna go up,
Yeah,
right?
they set it after we've
Here.
all passed our budgets, because they can't set it until they know what budgets we pass.
Right.
What if we just said the yield and health insurance premiums, both of which are determined by the state? And so we just say it's the state's fault. We're essentially saying it's the state's fault.
Both of which are set by the state, what is it, the Green Mountain Care Board? Is that, I mean. Green Mountain, I don't know, there's a board that the chair of Hannaford's is on.
The VHA thing.
I feel like that's a deep rabbit hole,
Mm,
if we point it on the, if we
mhm,
push it on the state, I think it's just out of our control.
mhm.
Both of which are out of our control.
We could say state level. Base, two drivers are yield and.
Double digit
insurance.
health insurance premiums.
Continual.
Yeah, which I mean, is real for all of us, right? Like,
Mhm.
that's a community known factor.
Rate and yield increase.
Mhm.
Boom. Like that's a given, we know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a good
And
one.
that's been a constant thread for the last couple of years and the last vote too.
And while you're writing this, Liz, I just want to celebrate everybody. This is like really hard work that we're doing today.
Mhm. I'm really glad we have who we have here to have the conversation. right?
Me too.
Good too.
So, okay, we call out that we're having budget increases due to factors outside of our control, largely. Now we say, we are exploring. Then we say, new paragraph, we want to know what's important to you. And then another new paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
Here are some options we're exploring.
It is vital, we know, that word vital is. still
Yes,
sticking
it
with
is
me
vital,
from
we know.
earlier.
Why are we changing up the numbers?
Just
I mean,
No, we need to have our ducks in a row when our
Mhm.
answers.
It is vital we know what is important to you.
yes,
Then do we say, we are. I mean, the options that we have in front of us are double-digit tax increases, closing schools, or laying off staff. And I'm not saying those are the only options, I'm just saying that's what we as a board have been presented with. And I'm not even saying that I agree that those are our only options, I'm just saying that's what we as a board have voted on at this point.
Do you wanna say something like some options include?
Or we're exploring. Or considering.
but what would another option be? When this, you know what I mean, like if there were any more, like talking SUSB, like if there are other things in your
Yeah.
mind, you know? Love to.
Yeah, invite people in with their ideas, I think. I mean, we have these ideas. How do they feel about them and do they have any other?
I wonder if we ask like what additional information or data would you need to feel more informed? And then that's kind of like, because we have the experts, right?
Yes, we do.
And we can access them, and that's part of our community engagement. Like, let us be a
I love,
conduit to it. Maybe.
What about two significant, or no, sorry, but use the word significant drivers. Or significant levers, something like that was always used in the past for lowering expenses. Or,
What if we just said oh, sorry, no, I'm interrupting you.
no, you're good, it's good, go for it.
So it is vital. We know what is important to you. We are considering closing elementary schools to keep costs down. We want to know what's important to you and what data do you need? What else should we consider? I think, like, to Kristen's point, we need to call out that we're considering closing elementary schools, otherwise the community is gonna feel totally blindsided.
I didn't say that.
Oh, sorry, sorry.
No, my point was, we need more information to, before saying this is, but I understand we're.
I'm sorry, I
No,
didn't
no,
mean to put
you're-
words in your
you're
mouth.
fine, You're fine.
what if you put, instead of we are considering some options that we
That have been presented to us.
Include, yes.
include, and then like keep it in a group of things that, because if you say that we're considering it, that brings it like one step, to me,
You're right.
one
You're
step closer
totally
to
right.
reality versus the other two stuff, the other two options.
So
Whatever.
some options we're considering include closing elementary schools and or double-digit tax increases for our towns.
Is there anything else we can add to that list?
I was gonna say, I think we should definitely bounce it off of finance and facilities,
Mm.
because I know that, that an approach like that can sound very threatening. We're considering this, or you're gonna have double-digit increases.
Well, that's why we have those
Let's
seven
flip back, let's
options.
take that
Yeah,
out. So what if
yeah,
we say
that's where
that
we-
some of the options we're considering
Yeah,
include closing elementary schools and we leave it at that? Is that better? Okay, so.
because I think otherwise, I think you're shutting people down. They're
And we
not-
don't
they're
wanna
not gonna
do
wanna
that.
talk about
And
It's a
you're
very-
right, there's a lot from finance and facilities that we don't have yet.
it. Mhm.
So do we wait? talk to finance and
No, you're good.
facilities and.
Mhm.
But I think somewhere we might want to mention within that is that we are doing this in efforts to be ahead or, not gain our local control, but having our local voice in the future of our schools because the state they're coming, like it's happening. I think
Yeah.
somewhere we need to again toot our horn that we're working ahead of the state telling us what to do.
And
Agreed, Beth.
I wonder, would anybody be opposed to putting it before anything else, like
Yeah.
right at the top and saying, you're trying to be proactive or however you want to word it.
Yes.
Because otherwise it feels like the community engagement committee is playing God.
Right. Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
it does.
People will come away feeling rather chapped if we don't lead with that kind of,
Right.
you know. That's just my thought.
Agreed. So, okay,
Oh, sorry. Yep, so I can pull that from there from earlier. Do we want to, or the plan about improvement, and then this is the last.
so maybe the first line is we want to get ahead of what's happening at the state. Or say it better.
Yeah,
Somebody
that,
else say it better.
the thing that,
Yeah, the thing that Beth said.
yeah.
And then maybe add, and we need your help. Like really go out of your way to include whoever reads it so that they can.
Do
if-
we, right, like the, do we want, one way I heard it said once was, do we want to put a plan together before the state makes a plan for us?
Yeah. I mean, or, while Vermont is enacting laws, I mean, we're kind of doing it simultaneously, right? Like they're doing it, we're doing it. They don't know our local schools. They don't know our communities. We do, but yeah, I like that. What you said, that's catchy. I forget what you said though. Did someone write that down?
That was in order to maintain status quo.
Okay, so here's what we've got. Do we want to make a plan
For ourselves before the state makes a plan for us,
for ourselves before the state makes a plan for us?
like rhetorical question, right?
Rhetorical
Opener.
We call that a hook in sales.
Okay,
In order
Do you
to,
want to be a part of the plan?
do you want to be a?
do you, oh, I love that.
Yeah, that's better. That right there, that encourages it to come together in conversation.
Yeah.
Like to be a part
Right.
of it, we're doing it as a collective.
Okay, so that's our hook. Then we have, in order to maintain status quo and MAUSD, we are facing a significant tax increase. I'm gonna take
Yeah,
out
we can fix
significant.
all of it, yes.
So 2 drivers are the yield and double-digit health insurance increases. It is vital that we know what is important to you. Some options we're considering include closing elementary schools. We need to know. Well, actually, so that's all we have. We have it ending at elementary schools. So now we ask the question,
Yeah.
what do we want to know from the community? So we need to know, what data do they need?
What data do you need? What, yeah,
What do you need to know to help make your well,
I kind of just
I-
want to leave it open-ended. What's important to you?
yeah, I like that.
I think we take what we have and I think we need to, I think we need to bounce it to finance and facilities and say, are you comfortable with us putting something like this forward? Because it's all gonna be coming at you.
right, so
I
at
would
our
like
next board meeting, we could have a draft of the survey, right?
Yeah.
Just like, hey, this is an idea.
Because I think something of this magnitude, I think that everybody needs to be involved in this, and I think everybody needs input, and by providing them with, something to start with, You know,
Which is what they did with us with those options, because we didn't participate in adding ideas to the options list, right? This committee, right? But what they came up with was given to us to consider, so this is the same thing we'd be doing with this survey.
So sorry, yes, I'm listening. I
No,
realize
good.
that,
They're getting there.
so when we have the final draft of this survey language, which we are like so close to having, we are going to add that, we're gonna present that to the full board and get their signature to send this out in Front Porch Forum to the communities. Is our call to action on this survey to ask what's important to you? I feel pretty strongly that our call to action needs to be something simple. If we overcomplicate it, people aren't gonna respond. So that's why I like the language, what's important to you. But as,
And we're not directing it. It leaves it
Mhm.
completely open-ended for them to feel how they want to feel about what they want to feel
How
strongly about.
will they get the information back to us?
well, don't forget that what we're doing right now is only a discussion item. It's not an action item.
Right.
So I think cart before horse. I think we need to keep that in mind too, because I think we do need to get some input from some of the other committees from the greater
Yeah.
board before, you know, I want to, like, I think we all want to be mindful of everyone's time as well. You know, like, we don't want to spend all kinds of time, you know, putting ideas out there just to be like, to have those guys from finance and facilities be like, no, we can't do that, you know? But I think if we start with what we have, I don't know, and I'm by all means, I'm wide open to, you know, what everybody's feeling about this, but that's just my 2 cents on it.
I 100% agree. So, and I also agree we should be mindful of everybody's time. So why don't we take what we have, present it to the board? What information do we need from other communities, or not communities, from other committees or the board at large in order to host an event in the future? Because I think that's something that we should consider maybe at our next meeting.
Yes.
So we need 1-pagers, like
Yes.
something written, like Beth said. What else do we need?
I think we need permission to go ahead for starters.
Yeah.
We need input or suggestions from the other committee members as to either wordsmithing or information that should or should not be included.
Or can or cannot be included.
Yeah,
Because there's
Yeah.
gonna be, I know for, you know, there's gonna be pushback saying, you know, there's certain information we can't provide. You know, rightly so. But I think that's kind of what I was saying is like, you know, we're limited with what we know we can put out there. But, and the other thing I think we need to ask as well is, I think before we host an event, I think we need to just put a flyer out there.
Yeah,
Because we know that we're gonna be tasked with whittling down the list even smaller, and I think if we put something out there with 7 models, people are gonna be like, oh my God, like, and just to be like, oh, you mean there's only gonna be 3 in
That's
like
a-
another month? Like, I think we need to look big picture
That's a
too
good point.
before doing any kind of presentation.
yeah.
And I think we should probably get the full board's input on that.
And because they,
Also.
whatever 1-pager they make, they'll probably want the full board's input too.
Yeah.
So then you're October, November, December, we're deciding on a budget.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and actually, I did want to go back to one bullet point under the surveys. You had Addison Independent in here. I think we just let Maren do what she wants in terms of attending meetings. I think we're gonna have our hands full enough
Oh, yeah.
before we can, you know, I think we need to be, again, use our time wisely before going, you know, putting too many fingers out there. I don't know.
No, I agree.
That's as of like today.
I think a really good way for us to finish this meeting is we're gonna put a survey out in Front Porch Forum, and we've got language, and there's information that we need from other committees and the board at large before we host an event.
I think before we even put something on a Front Porch Forum.
Do we wanna go to the select boards before we go to the, like, we can do that simultaneously, but before we host an event, we could go to the select boards when we put this out, or before we put this out, or after we put this out, but before we host an event with the community. Make sure that select board has the information.
Yeah.
From our presentation.
And before that is staff.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And then before,
So,
and this survey could go to students,
Mhm.
good.
why not?
so Beth, as far as staff. Informing staff, would that go through Patrick?
It would, yeah. And that's why I was looking on the website when we first began. There's really nothing about it yet, other than administrators, but they're not sharing it out yet.
Yeah.
And then also like first of the year, like the state is going to have the redistricting maps done, is what they're proposing. So
Well, there's
Yeah.
some powerful advocates
it's
pushing
crazy.
that work, right? So
Right,
Anne
right.
got me when she said that at the retreat that. Cause I was just thinking about the neighboring districts so much, and the merger had me thinking about them so much. She really, when she said for us to think about our own situation. Like how we're starting the survey, it means a lot.
Mhm.
So,
Sorry to interject, Barb. It sounds like there's information that we need before we do anything, and I'm just not sure what that information is, and I can't ask for it without knowing what it is. So
I think we need a timeline of who's being told what.
timeline of who's
Staff
being-
needs to be told before community.
Right, yeah.
And when are we gonna like create this is it for now, like we're gonna commit to the model, the budget, I just feel like there's gonna have to be some timelines, like,
And tighter than just propose, like, I don't wanna say tighter than proposed, but to your point, like. We need to have a pretty succinct timeline so that we can get stuff out there.
yeah.
yeah, what I was worried about, I have a concern, if we go to the full board in an open meeting and present the survey, it's gonna be in the minutes, and the staff is gonna learn about it via the minutes, so.
Or
So,
via attending via Zoom.
right, so could that be executive?
But doesn't the staff, like we had all 7 options in the minutes.
That's a question for Beth.
Mhm.
don't
So
know
I
if
feel
they-
like,
Yeah.
The public document.
yeah, it's a public the staff already. If the
Okay.
staff is reading the minutes, they'll already know
Okay,
way more than just the language of the survey.
Right, but think about how many staff read the minutes. Like, I just feel like it needs to be
Yeah.
transparent, deliberate. Everyone, this is it. Here's 3 different ways to see it. You have to trip over it, like, yeah.
I don't think that we wanna assume anything.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
no, cause you're gonna have the union members attending.
Yep.
There will be staff present.
I don't think that
Sorry.
should be enough to deter us from bringing the survey to the full board.
Mhm.
Because the full board has heard way more than just the language in the survey, is all I'm saying.
Okay, I just wanted to like throw that out there, cause
Yeah.
Great point.
We did have, like, the merger study committee was meant to complete in 6 months and it took 9 and 12. Like, basically, it's like you work ahead as well as you can with the best intentions of being genuine and working through hard things together. And then it's not a new thing for timelines to get pushed out.
So the information
Right.
that we need 1 page written down of info. We need to know what we can and can't be included. The Excel sheet, we need feedback from the board on survey language. We need a timeline of who's being told what
And when.
and when. And when. And I would,
Before we host an event, is what that was supposed to be.
okay, so before we host an event, we need a timeline of who's being told what and when, and I would really like for finance and facility to make the slides for us.
Yes.
F and F. We're doing a lot of work, guys. They can make us a slide deck.
Mhm.
I hope every ounce of my staff is computer using.
Yep. And there has been tons of talk about grade banding, so I feel like you're right, staff does know quite a bit. It's just we all have to know the same thing, because
Exactly.
even the same language, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I think we did a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, to your point, Beth, I think, the specific to the grade banding, I think back to, there's always the predictable attendees when budget conversations come out, and I think we need to do ourselves the service of making sure that those people are fully informed.
Yes.
Because that has come back to bite us in every single space. And thinking back specifically to what was that, 2 or 3 years ago, 3 budget cycles ago, when, it took us 3 attempts before the budget was passed. And I think a big contributing factor was how that communication wasn't handled.
It was just
Yeah.
2024.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was right before I joined.
so I think
Still join.
I think we need to take, I think we need to make sure that that's something that we think very big concerted effort to
Yes.
make sure that those Ts are crossed and those
Yeah.
Is are dotted, because it's
Yeah.
very apparent that people are very upset when they don't know the full picture.
So do we feel like the bullet points listed will give us enough of a full picture that we can begin planning an event in October? Or is there more information that is not being captured in these bullet points?
I think it's a great start. I think. Cause we can be flexible if someone reads it and says, well, you missed such and such, but I think we've done our best thus far. What do you think? Everything you wanna have?
I think so.
Because my fear again is like not having, like being so far behind on information gathering that we can't do anything, and then the weight of failure being solely on our shoulders. So that's just,
Yeah,
I mean, that's me being a
Aaron-
neurodivergent perfectionist, so that's like my own issues too, but.
well, we appreciate all of everything you're doing, and it's Aaron who's gonna get the Dawn, and then it's Krista, and it will be Aaron. So really, this is us supporting her, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, she's really the gatekeeper of all of that, or the superintendent.
Yeah, and I think, to your point, Meredith, it's, we wanna be mindful. It's a very hard loop. It's a very vicious cycle, because chicken egg
Mhm.
every single time. There's
Mhm.
no right answer for anything. And it's complicated.
It's complicated.
But that's okay, we can do hard things, right?
I think
Together.
bringing the survey to the board is a first step.
Yeah.
I think posting the survey on Front Porch Forum, when we get the go-ahead from the board to do that, will give us a ton of information to help us get started. So are we feeling good about the survey language that I can request inclusion on the next board agenda?
Yeah, I'll write up the notes, and then that should help with that. Cool.
And then we've got the things that we need. I can just, when I get the minutes,
Mhm.
I will personally email Mike and Patrick and get that for us for our next meeting. Is there anything else that we haven't discussed or considered or asked that we should think about before we go? My only thing is just, I'm feeling an immense amount of gratitude for this team and the gargantuan task that we have in front of us. I can't imagine anyone more suited for the job than the 4 of you, so thank you for getting down into the trenches and for a bumpy next couple of months ahead.
And I wanna know, I do, one more quick question is, what platform we should use for the survey? I know it's not gonna be Thought Exchange, but is there a Survey Monkey? Cause I know that I had a subscription for a while and it would compile the answers at least, right? Or
If
you-
there's any question.
Google form you can put into
Spreadsheet.
a spreadsheet to give us all the
Yeah.
results, right? Like, so just thinking about like, what does the district usually use, and what would be a functional survey form?
So would that be a question that we could maybe get resources from? the
Yes.
central office?
I think good to go.
Yeah. So forms,
Hold on, hold on a second.
Mhm.
And it has to be translated in Spanish because we now have 18 Spanish speaking.
Yeah.
right? So this would be the.
Massive bubble.
Are there any other languages that we should translate the survey into besides Spanish?
Yeah, there's Karen, Karen, which is like Burma. I don't even know. That's really, really hard to get translated. Then we have a Russian dialect. So majority is Spanish. The other ones we would have to do, we would have to pay to have that done, which we certainly can.
Cool.
But majority are Spanish right now. Yeah. A lot of kids have moved in, 7 kids in the last 3 weeks.
I love that so much.
And maybe,
Yeah.
Beth, do you think it would be possible to get feedback just about what the options or possibilities are of sending a survey out? Or do you think that is, if we put together a good survey, that Shannon would be able to okay whether or not the students had the option to fill it out during advisory, kind of like community council sends out surveys?
Right. Yeah. There's 4 at Beeman right now. So it's not just the high school, they're all over. And the families themselves. So yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely.
So for methods, it sounds like front porch forum, asking Patrick, he asked the building principals to get it out to the students if he wants to.
I think that's a really important piece.
Okay,
I think student voice is really, really important.
Yeah.
okay, so
Advisory.
That's
And
what we
also from
learned.
the merger study,
Absolutely.
that was a piece that, yeah.
so we can give it to Patrick and say, get student feedback.
Mhm.
And I like QR codes because you can hang it up at the like recycling centers and get a different type of population. You can hang them up at the churches, the libraries.
Don't hang them up at schools, though.
Why not?
'Cause
We don't have
You
cell
can't have
phones.
cell phones in school anymore.
That would do it. Okay.
That's a really good way to piss off high school kids.
Okay, so
Thanks a lot, guys. Can't access that.
not schools, because we don't want to,
Yeah.
we don't want to piss off the baby adults.
But you just get a piece of paper and you print out 100 of them and just put them wherever you can think to put them, right?
Perfect. So front porch forum, students, QR code. I'm thinking Facebook, you know
Yeah.
how there's the alert on the website with portrait of a learner? I think we do something.
Mhm.
So the Pendo alert on the website.
I feel like
Libraries,
we
I'm
have,
sorry.
there's been a reason we haven't done Facebook.
Mhm.
Well, I think
Mhm.
to take that off.
The comments. Yeah, I think it's the comments because
Yeah,
we don't want to.
We don't want to do social
Okay.
media.
Not Facebook. So front porch forum, students, QR code, Pendo alert on website.
And the select board gets notified before.
Mhm.
And the select board gets notified before.
They've got staff and then select board as a
Yeah.
part of the timeline of who's being
Yeah,
told what would be our preference.
Are we just owning select boards for our own town? And I can take New Haven.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to the other towns, so like I've met all of the like attended, so I think there's something about going to another, like you knowing then. Kathy would probably want to go with you.
Sweet.
Yeah, I think we need to go in some sort of a group, doesn't he? Or
It
we
might
could
be
all
hard.
go to all of them.
And just see who, at least more than one person, and support each
Yeah.
other. Even an invite to the whole board, hey, we're going here then, can, who from the board would like to come?
I love it. I think that sounds like a great plan.
Could always use a mic.
We could do it the same night and run from town to.
Like, that would actually be hilarious. Could learn how to time and space travel.
So not Facebook.
That's
but
where the busing conversations
Yeah.
come in.
Yeah.
I would, yeah.
there could be a
And you
link.
can't be a Lincoln resident and fill this out, right? Like
Right.
Lincoln Kids and Advisory. I guess they could. It just
Because they're a Mount Aid student, right?
yeah.
how do you guys feel about asking for a zip code as a question on the survey?
Dark.
So the survey is an open-ended question.
Oh,
What's
I
important to you,
see.
and have a first question be like, what is your zip code? Because I think that will very easily disqualify most people who aren't in our 4 towns, because zip code is something that like you think of really quickly. And also it will help us understand who from each town, how each of our 4 towns are feeling individually.
South
So-
Starksboro has the same zip code as. Bristol.
Yeah, so I'm Moncton and have a Bristol zip
Yeah.
code, and I know other Moncton
Just
people
to say
that have a
town.
Virgin
Just say town.
zip code.
Yeah,
So,
Just say
Okay,
town.
never mind.
Yeah.
Town,
Mine
yeah,
can
town.
be-
But that
What
was
town are
good.
you in? Okay,
Those
town
are-
is better. Town is better.
yeah.
Yeah. So you're 05443.
Mhm.
Great.
We should-
So the order of things is, before we put this survey out, the staff needs to be aware, and we have to meet with the select boards. Because that's gonna slow down this survey, which I perceive as being somewhat soft. I'm okay with slowing it down. But it's gonna push back our timeline, which is not a bad thing, but
What's our meeting? What's our next
I have
meeting?
to shut my computer down because the battery's dead.
okay.
Because
So my only ask is, maybe at our next meeting, we consider just, because it's gonna be in the beginning of October, which I don't think is that big of a deal. Yeah, you know what, we're 42 minutes past
Well,
and it's late,
About
but
for something for our next meeting, planning's important, right?
Mhm.
What are you thinking?
so next meeting, we can have an action item to send out the survey. We will have the information we need. So we can begin, and hopefully we'll have slides. So at our next meeting, we can also plan when we're going to the select boards, and we can also start planning like a November or December event.
And even with the select boards, if we don't have slides, because I'm not the great at greatest at giving a presentation. Bringing that survey and bringing the 1-pager and saying, they'll have plenty to say.
Oh, I think
Like,
so.
I don't
too.
think it'll be a high demand on
Yeah.
Yeah,
us to speak, really. So that is an option if they feel like they're not prepared to put together a slide deck yet. I'm sure they can, but if that's delayed,
Mm.
I think, oh,
listen,
right,
them creating a slide deck is not nearly as much work as us going around
and actually
to
presenting. Fair enough,
select board meetings,
that's true.
plus hosting our own event, plus writing a survey, plus compiling the survey data, plus presenting the survey data.
Yeah,
Like,
it's gonna be.
we are doing way more work.
Okie dokie.
So they can make us a deck before our next meeting.
Sounds like a
I
plan,
like your thoughts.
right? Can they make us sign it? And they have a big crew on facilities.
Exactly, they'll be fine.
Right?
So no action, the only action right now, well, no actual action that we're voting on. The only thing that we are doing is presenting our survey and getting feedback from the board.
Mhm.
And then we're gonna have a really busy planning meeting in October to plan all the stuff that we're doing in the fall. Does that sound like where
Sounds
everybody
good.
else is at?
Yeah.
I'm spinning out, so I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, so please interrupt me if I'm like.
Yeah, it's okay.
This
I
is
think
super
we're all
successful.
doing that, but we're,
Mhm,
it's like,
just in different ways. We,
gonna be okay. We got through that budget, that crazy budget, yeah.
oh my God, that was awful.
Mhm.
I especially liked it when people were complaining that we didn't address anything else. Oh my. Oh, past
and we had those great Q and As that you guys put together for us, those answers to all those big questions. Administration gave us this like sheet where it was like, tell us more about administration, how it works, what all the roles are and all of
I
that.
love that.
And it was like, what does special education look like? That had a write up on all of that, like a ton of work was done.
No, so much fun.
Thanks, Beth.
Thank you, Beth. Motion to adjourn, anybody?
All right.
Wait, seriously, does anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn at 8:45.
All those in
Night,
favor?
everyone.
Bye, Beth.
Bye, Beth. Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Drive safe. Okay.